Mmm.
When you keep your heart open and your mind open, you will meet beautiful people like Veronica Njodinizeh. Oh my gosh, like in Davis, California, like that hasn't happened to me yet. And it's day 363, right? I have 2 days left. Hey V, how did we meet today?
We met today? I thought we've known each other our whole
Yeah,
life.
yes! Oh, look at that red face, Oh.
No, yeah. Davis, imagine what a work trip, huh? Imagine what a work trip took us. Davis Joint Unified School District Benefit Fair. That's how we met today, huh?
Yeah, and I was just going in to give me some water refill, and you're like, do you need anything? Do you have any questions? And I was like, Hey.
You're already a celebrity.
Oh shoot!
You're a celebrity in Davis.
Here's my car, girl. Yeah, and then somebody was talking about Chipotle. It was Michelle McKim.
Yes.
Who was talking about me eating Chipotle once a day for a year, and I was like, this woman doesn't know what Michelle's talking about with Chipotle, so I was like, I had to fill you in on it, you know, so you weren't just thinking that I just eat it all the time, which I do. We just started talking about how educators are important human beings and where you've come from and the impact that they've had on you. So before I get too deep into that, why don't you tell them who you are? What's your name?
Who am I? I am Veronica Njodinizeh.
And your girl Kayla Abby with the Educator Chipotle Challenge. About to do an Educator Shout Out Interview with Veronica right here. So, Veronica, name and describe one or more educators who have positively impacted your life and how they've made a difference.
I will start with the source of my beginnings, which through God, from my mother, who was one of the first and earliest teachers in my life, and called a headmistress in the schools in India. And she valued education, valued the life that I could have through education, that she knew that India could not provide a Christian Indian black girl. So my mom was one of my first early educators who made her way through many oceans to bring me here to the U.S. so that I could be taught by some really great men and women, one of whom, Miss Marshall, who was responsible for getting me into that summer program that got my whole undergrad paid in full, plus a refund check every quarter when we was old school in the quarter system, okay? And she was my biology teacher, and she grew my interest in science and actually sowed a seed that allowed me to even meet the first black female astronaut, Dr. Mae Jemison. Sure did, because of her blessing. And now my son wants to be an astronaut because of that. What? Okay, I'm like, well, you know what? I couldn't do that, so you go ahead and do that, son. Okay?
You go do that.
And Miss Studis, who was my English teacher, and I love her. She had the softest hands. I was like, does she do any work at home? But Miss Studis sowed a seed of literacy and writing and my passion for writing in my life, to be able to tell stories. And I was able to deal with a lot of the domestic violence in my home through poetry and expressing myself. And her seed allowed me to introduce people like Soldier, Nikki Giovanni, Gwendolyn Brooks, and just allow me to share my story and write my story the way that I really want to in my life. And so those are just a handful of educators in my life who have lit fires in my life that are still burning.
Oh, I see it. I feel it. Gosh, you didn't even need to tell me all those stories. And I like, just from your personality, like that fire is still a burning. Yeah, man. You got some great energy, and dang, you sure do have a story to tell. You have several stories to tell. My goodness.
I want to give a big shout out to Kayla here, who is not just repping for her in a place where everybody is repping themselves. She is repping her children, the students that she serves every day. And I'm honored to work and to advocate for my teachers and educators, because I know and can only imagine how hard they work in those places that we don't see or don't hear about on the news. But she is doing a great thing here to fund the cause, to fund the work for not just herself, but her teacher association as well as her students. And so any way I can support, any way we can get the word out to support this awesome testament of what real educators do in and outside the classroom on a Monday night on the streets of Davis, California.
California! Okay. Can I get an amen?
So here we are, and I'm going on 13 hours today. A few more left. Got still a few more hours left in me. Okay.
Yeah, you've been rolling since what, 4 a.m. Gosh, Mama needs a little nap. She needs to recharge that battery, but she still got, because she got that fire in her. You gotta keep going.
Keep going.
Dang.
Keep going.
God, thank you so much.
Thank you. Honored.
All right, V, as a mentor, as a parent, and as a lifelong learner, what resources do you believe are necessary to have at school that support students' mental, social, emotional health, and well-being?
Ooh, man, you should have prepped me for the question so I could have Googled.
This highly educated woman over here says she's about to Google the answers. Let's take a pause here while she pulls out her iPhone and she just like asks Siri. Yes! We've known each other for years, going on 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I feel like a lot of teachers don't even have the basics. You know, last year my son, who is almost a third grader, getting ready to start second grade, you know, his teacher sent us all a list of some basic things that you think a school or institution would provide teachers to have in their classrooms. You know, rewards, you know, folders, you know, cleaning supplies, just things that I feel like every class is standard, but it's not. And the teachers have to provide that on their own, out of their own time, not only their time to go and purchase these items, but also the budget to do it. And so it was an honor. I was glad to be able to support the class, but I just feel like they should be basics in the classroom, you know. But more than anything, with the raising demands and class sizes for some of our teachers, the biggest thing is really time. How can we put more time back in our teachers' hands to really spend time with those students that really need the extra help?
Yeah.
You know, how can that be a part of their day and not something else that they have to do on top of their life? I mean, my son's teacher last year was a caregiver to her 92 and 93-year-old parents, and was still showing up to school to be here for her second graders. You know, the time, the energy, the commitment, the mental fortitude. How do we put more time back in their hands to be able to do the one basic thing that we're asking the teachers and the support staff to be able to do for our kids in the classroom. It's really the hard work outside the class. I don't know. I don't have the answer today.
Those are answers that I have not yet heard, but those are just as, I mean, the basics. A teacher could teach a lot of content, but may not be able to really get what they need out of the students if they don't have the tissues or the paper or the pens or pencils for them to express themselves. And the time is like we were talking earlier, time is one of our most precious resources, and we gotta, like, in order for them to adequately serve students, not only do they need those resources and the tools to provide students to learn, but also the time to do it, the time to teach them how to use those tools, the time to take care of themselves, and the class sizes so that they can make sure that Diego is doing well, not only in that math lesson, but in life in general, so that she can reach him. And so I think I loved your answer.
And I'll add this plug to it, because we say this a lot too, and I say this to myself as a parent, you know, like, if I'm not good, my kid can't be good.
Right.
You know, and so beyond the classroom, the things that need to really be happening, I'm going to put my shameless plug in for the role I'm here to do for our school districts, is really providing them with tangible benefits to be able to manage their life outside the classroom, so that they can do their jobs. And a lot of teachers do not have the benefits that they need, and I believe it should be for free, and it should be covered. It should be part of their whole package. But we'll fight for that another day. But that is something that is really important, I feel like, to support our teachers and all of our support staff at the school districts.
Yeah, we keep working on that. We keep working at that. So time, the basics, the resources, the health benefits, supports mental, social, emotional health and well-being, the overall well-being, not only of our kids, but of our educators, right? You spoke to something that I believe in, like, you know, that saying, when you get on that airplane in a couple hours, is like, put on your mask before you help somebody else. And while some people may think that's selfish, like, you're not going to be able to help those students until you are able to get yourself right enough to give. Even when you're a caregiver to your 92-year-old mother or father, like, she had to be doing something well enough to make sure she had enough energy. And I can only imagine how much of a struggle that was with whatever she was doing. Like,
It's a lot. The other work I do around the Boys and Young Men of Color space, around the initiative, a call to action by President Obama 2014, My Brother's Keeper, is the whole approach to looking at things as a system. That the education system is not the system that is required to solve the issues within that system, right? Homelessness isn't just homelessness. There's a lot of systems in play. Education collides at the intersection of health, right? Mental health, physical health, spiritual health. I feel like there's so many different intersections that need to really come together in these very large spaces. And my aspect specifically, I'll just cite the recent LAUSD win over the week of strike that happened, right? Is that there was a bit of a pitting between the teachers union and the district, but it's a whole, I feel like it's a whole system that has to really shift, because we're all underneath the same system. So I'll just give you an example here, right? So that week that I, as a parent working, right, I really wanted to be there and support my teachers and stand with them. And I did, and I kept my son a day from the school, right? But then there was also another part of me where I had to go to work. I'm a single mom who has to go to work, who had client meetings. So I didn't have a choice. My son was safe. I knew he was at school, but I had to drop him off. He had to go to school because I needed to get to work, okay? And the system, the way the current school system is really designed, I don't really know, Kayla, if it's really designed to continue to support working families. The scheduling, right? And when we start to look at ourselves, and I say ourselves, even though I'm a naturalized citizen, I see myself as a global citizen here as an American, right? And what I see is that we are competing on a global stage with very historical standards and schedules. You know, I know the teachers love, my sisters are teachers, they love to have their summers off, right? But I'm asking, how do we continue to compete on a national stage when people aren't getting off of work at 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? What are real initiatives that aren't pulling at the very population that we say we want to see graduate from high school? Because in the MBK space, Milestone 3 graduated from high school, that changes the trajectory of a young person going into prison by 93%. The likelihood of them decreases, okay? They're gonna continue to go on and be successful. And I'm saying, how do we really restructure all these systems that have been operating on the same rules, the same strategic mindsets, and we keep placing seniority and cycling sort of the same sort of government mentality around such an important piece of our education, and really pay our teachers, really restructure the whole education system. I don't know how to do that overnight. I don't know how that can ever be done overnight. But we really need to look about how that's really supporting the broader scale of what it really means. I mean, there are kids that I mentor now who graduated college and don't know how to write an agenda. Graduated from college. What are we missing? What's happening in their pathway? To speak, saying beyond education, schedules. I just felt like I had a random thought, but I really feel like there has to be a lot of things restructured outside.
Absolutely.
You only have a few more minutes with me. We'll fade out into the darkness. You know, I'm a little chocolate here, okay?
That is true. I acquired the nickname from one of my African American friends, white chocolate. So,
I saw your moves. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up.
all right, V. Let's see. So, what advice would you share with your younger self?
I actually had this question before, so I'm going to repeat the same answer.
Right, right. At least it's not Google.
Yes. Woo. You know, just to not grow up too fast. To not want to be so ahead of our time. We can't enjoy or learn from the present. And it's so big. I felt so, I don't know, constant place where I just wanted to pay my mom back for the sacrifices. I always felt like I needed to do so much to be grateful for all that she opened the door for me to have in my life, you know? And so I felt like I just couldn't wait to start driving. I mean, I was literally driving to driving class and I didn't even have my license yet, you know? And I think I should have gave myself a little bit more opportunities to enjoy. So I think that's kind of my biggest thing, is not to rush the process.
Do you feel like you are living that and practicing that at this point in your life?
Yes. Much better. Like, you know, as I was sharing with you earlier, you know, I just buried my mom at 26. Just buried my father a few months ago. So my value and for time is so important. And I tell people I don't want to do any more last minute funerals. So last minute fun trips are a go. And you know, the little things are the big things. And so, you know, sitting, looking at a mural, you know, having a cup of coffee, just really taking time.
Thank you so much for sharing all that. I can relate in some ways, more so now. Let's see, it's been April 12th, 2017 that I held my dad's hand as he was passing away from Lewy body dementia, and it was important to me before then, but even more like in my face real how critical it is to stop and either literally smell the roses or like just be cognizant that time is precious and you don't know how much you have, and not to necessarily live in fear of that, like, because that could create some fear-based experiences for some people, but to appreciate it and to, I mean, it's a daily kind of process to accept that we don't have all this time, and to actually check out those murals or take time to have coffee with friends, even though you're like so busy with all the service that you have been brought here to provide.
I'm so humble and honored that you shared that about your dad with me. My strength comes from my faith, my foundation as a Christian. What that really means in loving, being loved. It's really, feels like a whole new world that we're living in right now. I'm just grateful that every day, one person, you know, even when I don't feel it, because I want to slap them in their face sometimes. And take a seat back and really figure out what's going on. Because I wanted to slap that teacher I was talking about earlier, but I didn't know she was dealing with so much things, you know. And I realized it made me want to figure out, well, how do we burdens like that, you know? But anyway, I'm just grateful. Just having a grateful mindset, you know, connecting with people like you. You don't have to change a whole lot of lives. You just change your life. Let them do all the hard work of the men, right?
It's a ripple effect, right? It's a ripple effect.
So I feel like that's what you're doing here. I feel like that's why I'm about to miss my flight tonight, you know?
You ain't gonna miss your flight, so I'll drive you all the way to LA. I love driving. I'll drive you all the way to LA. So before we close out, Veronica, is there anything else that you'd like to share with educators or students watching? And who did you shout out to today?
Oh man. You know, I think the biggest thing is to laugh. Because there's some stuff you just gotta laugh about, you know. And my first job out of college, I don't know if I shared the story, was actually working as a long-term sub with all bad influence, especially kids. You know, people say there ain't no bad kids, but I worked with the bad kids because on the first day, I almost got into a fight. Okay, but I say that same student came back at the end of the year and thanked me for supporting her. You know? And I feel like a lot of our students and educators out there, you know, that really opportunity to give each other a chance. I think that's the biggest thing. We really don't know where stories were coming from, experiences that have brought them to that very moment. To really just, give and earn the respect in the classroom. I think that's, I don't know where else to start with that. And again, just really grateful, and a super shout out again to Mr. Marshall, to Miss next students, my mama and them in India, Nigeria, Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, represent.
And Davis, California today.
We're in Davis, California. It's been Kayla, Abby, and
B to the Izay.
Shazay. We out. Much love, so much love.
My knees ain't ready. I can't stay down here.
Woo, all right. We're going up. We're going up. Veronica, Njodinizeh. You are such a beautiful human. You got such great energy. Wow. I will definitely be seeing you again, girlfriend. You keep doing the great work, mentoring those youth and helping your babies grow and be on a path that is right and healthy for them, and you just give all the love that you got, girl. You just keep giving that love, and it's going to come back to you like it has over these years of things that have happened in your life that you've experienced with your village. Feel love for you already. Much love. Keep it real, folks. Have a great night.